us as we prepare for the transatlantic race. From provisioning for 7 people for 3 weeks to fixing a rusty smile between our keel and hull.
We've just come around the southwestern point of Fuerteventura, what is technically an acceleration zone where the wind gets funneled past the hills to a point here, and so the wind's picked up from around 10 to 12 knots. Now it's blowing a nice gustly 16 knots. Boat speeds around 6.5. We've got a very strong current pushing us this way, and so we're doing 9 knots to 10 knots at times. We're getting to Las Palmas on this trajectory in well, around 2 to 3 p.m. It's now 8 a.m. so we're setting a corking pace.
They're jumping everywhere. Woo.
Well, there it is, our final destination of the Canaries, in Spain and in Europe. Gran Canaria, and specifically the town of Las Palmas.
Nearly there.
Look at a sprawling town full of oil drilling and exploration platforms. I'm no geologist, so I've got no idea why there'd be so many in a volcanic region.
Port.
Yeah, part of it's ugly as well. I never think that boats are ugly normally, but I don't really like this.
It's not the prettiest harbour we've ever come into.
There is literally a million arc flags.
Good morning from Las Palmas Marina. It is absolutely humming this morning. The Arc Plus folks are leaving today. They go Cape Verde and then across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. We'll be in the Arc, which just goes straight across without stopping at Cape Verde. The other thing we're doing this morning, apart from we want to see off the Arc Plus folks, including a few we know, we are going to a chandlery. Now, I can't tell you how many times on the trip we've been to a chandlery, but this will be our last before we cross the Atlantic. So a few things to sort out. And also, Mateo from Watton Sea is here fortuitously, and we have one little thing that we need to sort out with the Watton Sea.
So this is when the current goes through this device from here to here, it makes a reading.
Yep.
So here, since the converter comes after the reading,
so that's why I didn't see it.
You don't see it.
Okay, so we've tested it. We used the drill to spin the rotor, and our battery monitor is registering it.
Hooray! Thank you, Matthew.
No problem, you're welcome.
Some of the support you get from Watton Sea.
Yay! Thanks for that.
As part of the preparations for the Atlantic crossing, I'm going to go up the mast and make sure that everything's okay, and also put a healthy dose of silicone spray onto moving parts so they're nice and lubricated. Yeah. I've checked everything. Everything's looking pretty good. I've put on the silicone spray onto the moving parts, and yes, that's nice and lubricated, all good. I think the rig is at least ready for the Atlantic. So this morning we're heading in to be hauled out for the first time. We need a few things done, primarily to get a new coat of anti-fouling to give us a bit of speed across the Atlantic. And also, good morning. There's the fellas I had beers with last night. In any case, so put a few fresh coats of paint to give us a bit of speed and also to last us all the way through to Australia. We're putting some better paint on than what the initial commissioning team did. And yeah, secondly, we are having a few things like a little crack between the hull and the keel fixed up. Apparently a lot of 445s and 455s, boats with the same keel, are having the same problem.
Having 320 boats doing ARC and ARC Plus is that Las Palmas Marina gets very full, and all the narcs, the boats that aren't doing the ARC but are kind of tailing the ARC, stay here in the bay. It's a little less busy than it was, but 2 nights ago, just before the ARC Plus left, it was absolutely just chockers next to each other, and flying was one of the boats there. As you can see, they've all got fenders out, but really, honestly, if a big wind blew up, that's not going to do a lot. So I'm quite glad that we're in Las Palmas Marina. Well, this is not something we've done before. Here goes. Come on, Aiden.
It's scary.
It's a little bit spooky.
And the match with Hansen, you know.
Yeah.
So the process we will with a torpedo we will clean very well, a little bit deep, to try to see where is good, where is bad.
Yep.
Take out all bad parts and later epoxy filler and so. I don't think that the bolts in the keel are
No, I don't think so. I mean,
or something like that.
they're 316 steel, so I don't think they can rust.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but sometimes in the yard they don't with the you call in English
To tighten the bolt?
the tie, the tie with the mark. You know, when you are crack,
Yeah.
you know, the branch key. Sometimes they don't use that and they leave shaft, but it's I think no, because we will see more cracks, you know, all around.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
The reason for our serious concern about the rust between the hull and the keel is that it's one of the potentially most dangerous points of failure, as happened with the Cheeky Rafiki as it was heading home from the Caribbean to England in 2014 and lost its keel in rough seas and overturned with all its crew lost at sea. Most ocean sailors are still shocked at what happened and why we thoroughly checked the rust was only cosmetic.
Okay, this is one place that we've never cleaned on Tranquilo, and look at all this life. That's got to go, and we've got to bring it down when we're underwater and clean it a bit.
We will apply anti-fouling in white. It's much better. That way you can detect it where is the problem.
The bow thrust is looking much better. It doesn't look like a zoo anymore, or a coral reef. The team is also working through the little hairline fracture that we had between the hull and the keel, which, incredibly enough, the other 455 and a 445, which is essentially the same hull, have on their boats. So they've scrapped it away to the iron keel. They've put on some chemical that gets rid of the rust, and now they've resealed it with fiberglass. Next step is to put primer on it and then anti-fouling. One thing that's just somewhat disappointing is that the commissioning team never put anti-fouling on the prop. So as you can see, there's a bit of growth on it. Yeah. Hey! Hey!
It's just past 8 a.m. All these guys said they'd be here at 8, so we have the Volvo Penta guy continuing his service, and he was here at 2 minutes to 8. So they're running to Swiss time rather than Spain time this morning. Very busy leading up to the Ark, which is why everything's going to time.
As part of preparations for the Atlantic crossing, we're also having our Volvo Penta engine serviced. It's up to 400 hours, so it's time for its second service. Elle can smell a bit of just nasty smell when she's changing from forward to reverse and vice versa the gears. So next step is to change the transmission oil. So take the propeller off, and we're going to also lead the transmission for putting in the new transmission oil.
Sí, como lleva un cortacabo.
We've come up on a bit of a problem. The anode on the sail drive, well, we have a prop cutter on it, and it's attached to the anode to stop it from spinning, and the other part does spin, but that's how it cuts. But the new Volvo Penta anode doesn't have a little hole where the prop cutter goes into, so we may not be able to change the sail drive anode. That's how it's supposed to be, and as you can see, the zinc anode that we've got doesn't have the hole in it, so it doesn't fit. Last step in the Volvo Penta service is the sail drive. Firstly, change the anode on the sail drive, and secondly, change the transmission oil. And at 400 hours on engine, it's time to change the oil. So that's the transmission oil. As you can see, it's a nasty black. No wonder we could smell it. Bueno. Great. There you go. So I've had to machine that. All good. Okay, happy?
Sí, pero hay que probar los tres.
Yeah.
¿No?
Alright, so that's the finished product. The last thing to do is for the Royal Nordic team, the boatyard, to put on anti-fouling on the prop.
And the starboard side, checking everything, every single little thing. Come across the stern, come back up through the middle, look at everything, sit down with binoculars.
And you're aiming for dry, dark, airy, and
BMG is the velocity made good. It's effectively looking at, is it better to aim straight at St. Lucia and perhaps be going slowly, or is it better to change course, sail at a faster wind angle and get there perhaps quicker, perhaps not? We've got 100 and something people in this room, and we probably have 100 and something different opinions on which is the best way to get.
You can get up here and do a bit of sanding.
Oh yeah, Aiden. Oh.
Let's finish it off. So what are you guys going to do tomorrow?
What we do? A little bit of beach in the morning. It's Friday, which makes this day 5 of Tranquilo being out of the water. And if you're wondering how they finished doing the anti-foul where the supports were, well, they've taken those away to keep back on the big straps again. So that's one of the last things to do. Something else is the bow thruster door is not closing properly now. They probably just need to sand that away. But apart from that, nearly done. So it's been quite a long week. We've stayed in a little Airbnb near the beach, but we've had to come back every day for various things, including sorting out the bow thruster and a few other things. So we will be very glad when she's back in the water, which is still forecast for this afternoon, and we will be relaxing at the Ark welcome party tonight. Alright, so where does this one need to go?
About 3 or a quarter of the way from my left. And that will give enough clearance for the sonar.
Quarter of the way from your, okay, from the stern.
Yeah, quarter. One thing that Hansa has been somewhat remiss about is putting out little indicators where the straps of the travel lift should go. So when we were lifting, I remembered pretty much at the last moment that we had a sonar up the front. So I made sure, kind of estimated where the strap should be. But when we lifted it out, it's only about 5 centimeters away from the sonar. You could imagine if the strap had gone on the sonar, pop, it would have pushed it into the hull. So yeah, it's a bit of an expensive kit to have damage, just because Hansa forgot to put little indicators on where the strap should be. Veneto does it, Lagoon does it. So if you don't already have the mask on your hull, suggest that you go ahead, find out where the straps should be, avoiding any appendages you got out of the boat, and put little stickers for future reference.
Good tip. As an example, here's our Kiwi mates Peliceno and their markers for where the straps should go. 3 hours later, the guys are still trying to get the bow thruster sorted. I'm very much wishing that we didn't have a bow thruster, because I pretty much don't use it. So after 17 years of sailing without one, when we're coming into harbour, marina, I just kind of forget that it's there. Once in a while Phil will call out, can you bow thrust me left or right, with the lazy lines that go up the front of the boat, but that's about it. And the reason we have bow thruster and electric winches is that eventually we will have to sell Tranquilo. Like we said in the first episode, we sold our apartment and our car, and when we finally settle back down in Australia, there's no way we can afford to keep her. And our Australian dealer Windcraft said that in the second-hand market for this type of boat, they're going to expect bow thruster and electric winches. Well, hopefully we can get this sorted really quickly now, because it's the one thing that's holding us up from going back in the water. So, fingers crossed. Brilliant news, bow thruster is working, and importantly the box is flush with the hull. That was the problem, because they'd anti-fouled, it was kind of sticking a little bit lower. But we are out of here finally. Buen dia, good morning. We've finally arrived on Pontoon S, which is where most of the families are. And within 10 minutes of us arriving, they'd said, come on over. So one of our neighbours, it's his 40th birthday today. So everyone gathered around, had a cake and some flowers and a present ready for him. And that's what Pontoon S is all about. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Matthias. Happy birthday to you.
This must be the best pontoon ever. I've never been in a harbour like this. It's just amazing.
The other thing though this morning is we have a safety inspection at 11, so I've got to get a few things ready. And because Tranquilo's been in the rolling yard for 5 days, she's absolutely filthy. So we really need to clean her, even more than the usual clean that needs to happen. And here's the satisfying part. It's gonna run black, watch this. One of the fantastic things about the Ark is that they have a kids program. Aiden is at kids club, which means that Phil and I get to get on with preparing for the Ark. There's no couples time or anything like that. It's just all TLC on things like the self-tacker, which is jamming. I can hardly even move it to show you that it's jamming. So the other day we had a fantastic talk by Jerry the Rigger. Lots of tips about caring for your gear, including to boil the kettle just so it's warm. Like, I've already done this test, only warm enough so that you could pour it on your own skin. And step one, rather than just, my first reaction was, oh geez, okay, we have to take this whole thing apart and clean it out. Go step by step. So first step is pour a lot of warm water on. Sorry, a little bit up. Which will clear out the salt and the grit. Here in the Canaries and in La Linea and Gibraltar, you get dust off the Sahara, which cakes in there with salt and jams everything up. So first step is, that's about it. Just wash it out, and water, easy, clean, doesn't pollute. Then go in stages. The next step will be when that dries out, if it's still not running properly, it is running a lot better. Then we'll spray on some silicone spray, see how that goes, and only then we would open it up and get a bit more serious about cleaning it out if we need.
One critical piece for getting Tranquilo ready for the Atlantic is the sail. Goes without saying. May have mentioned earlier, our sail sliders, the little cars that hold the sail to the mast, have blown apart. So I've got some spare parts, and the team is going to replace it. Secondly, 2 batten boxes. They hold the battens, the big stiff bits of plastic to give the sail shape, have blown open, which means that we've lost one batten and the other one's pretty close to being kaput. Batten, well, we've had advice from Elfstrom as well as our dealer, Windcraft, that it's either over tension battens or 2 short battens. Now, I'm no expert at tensioning battens, so that's why I have asked the local team to help us out with that.
No, no. Que se ve la línea, ¿te refieres? Sí. Vale. Era el otro nudo.
And the final piece of the puzzle is the forestay. The split pin in the forestay has just slightly degraded, and so these guys say, look, it was fine, but I want to just make sure I've got a split pin that's 100%, because if it comes out, then the pin that the split pin holds in could let go and the forestay goes. Now the forestay holds the mast forward, so you can imagine if that whole forestay goes, you can see where the mast is going. Bang, backwards.
Do you say you got VMG?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy.
I mean, I haven't reset the unit. When you upgrade the
No, I
software, probably on the default page, but the customized bar, it should be the same. Because by default, we have only one bar. So
Yeah.
Okay. This is all dried out, but unfortunately it's still a bit sticky, so it's time for some lubricant you can use. There's so many on the market, silicone sprays, or this is Sail Coat. It says dry lubricant for everything that slides, or everything that should slide. Aha, okay, that is much better. Magic. At the risk of this looking like product placement, Phil would like to say something about Sail Coat.
Yes, I know Elle said that you can use silicone, other products, but time after time, most reviews say that McLube's Sail Coat is one of, if not the best lubricants, be it for winches or, in this instance, self-taking head sails. So yeah, McLube Sail Note. No, we're not sponsored by them. It's just really good stuff.
No. Okay. Yep. That's enough. Yep. Okay. Get into your hidey pots. Yeah. Someone into a hiding. Get into your hidey spots. Emily, come. I'm so good. Take going. No.
So the great news for this morning is that we've got the crew coming in. Four family members.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're so big now.
Look what I got.
What is it? You paint that?
Yeah.
That is awesome. You're gonna put it on the boat for luck.
Yeah. I was thinking when we were there, when we were at the horses, about because you like.
We have horses.
Yeah. That's right. Were the horses good? Oh, you mean?
ah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Almost finished.
So with the crew here, we're working through primarily expectations. You know, how are we going to do this? Is it going to be a leisurely sail, or is it going to be racing? You know, sails ablaze. We realised, you know, they're all kind of of the same opinion. We're going to race, but you know, go make sure we get there all in one piece. So you know, tone things down. As I say, 80%, 100% of the time. Right now, we're talking through provisioning.
So a bag per day.
In a nasty plastic shopping bag.
In a nasty plastic shopping bag. One for the dry stuff that doesn't need the fridge, and then one in the fridge. So there'll be a small one in the fridge, you know, just for some meat or whichever veg goes with it.
Right, time to get some provisioning.
How many trolleys do we need?
Qué mal.
As tall as you.
Well, it's actually the same length as Zaga's.
No, it's about twice as big as Zadar.
Okay. Okay, first of many trips downstairs.
Yep. It's tapas night in town, Thursday night, so we thought we'd take a night off from the marina. We really need it, and check out the old town.
We're in the heart of the old town, and here in 1481 they decided to build a hospital and a cathedral. This has been built up since then, but it originates from then, which was 11 years before Christopher Columbus set off. This was his last stop, Las Palmas, before he set off across the Atlantic in 1492.
This is the Casa de Colón, which is where Christopher Columbus stayed before he headed across to the Americas. We're looking for a tapas bar. It's a bit quiet in town, but this place has got all the locals, so I reckon it's good. It's got a great beer selection. Cheers.
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 I've lucked in. This is one of the best beers I've ever had. As you know, I like my blondes. The Schuf from
You like
the
your
Ardennes.
blondes?
Yeah.
There is too. How strange.
Do you like the sauce?
Oh, good. Tasty. Good sauce. Yes.
Bad habit of asking people what they think when they're eating.
It's like, no. How's it?
I'm going through this morning and laying out all the provisions in different parts of Tranquilo. The crew's headed out. Elle's gone with Gordon to the chandlery to sort out a few minor things, and the rest of the guys have gone to El Corte Inglés. There's a rumour that El Corte has got Earl Grey tea, which is... I need Earl Grey tea. I mean, you can see the twitch in my eye. And so I'm going through and laying out everything step by step. As you can see here, we've got day by day provisions, so carbohydrates and canned fruit, canned vegetables, etc. on a daily basis. Then you've got the corresponding meat and whatnot in the fridge. I've laid it out that the first 10 days are close to hand, the next 10 days are then further out. The plan is that as we empty this, we then will refill it. Now the other critical component is filling out or fitting out we've got about 150 litres of bottled water on top of the 450 that we've got in the tank just for drinking. And the requirement is I need to put it low down in the boat to make sure that Tranquilo is balanced, as well as I want to also put more on the starboard side. We're going to be a starboard tack, which means that we'll be leaning more up that way, so I want to balance the boat, put some more weight on this side so a bit more flatter.
And you've got your cable tie-in.
So the other great thing about the Ark is that we get top of the line experts to come around and check out your boat and do an audit. This morning it's Jerry the rigger who's been going around and doing all the boats, also doing some insurance checks. He's now checking out Tranquilo.
And your preventer goes on here.
Oh, always.
But they're all turning. Lady's long hair.
one of the cousins.
Alright, I decided on the Girls for Sale boat, they've got 10 ladies on there, that they should all shave their heads. There's just hair everywhere as well. Dear me.
Did you suggest it's the Volvo Ocean Race girls as well?
Oh, I haven't seen them.
Jerry's looked at the boat. He thinks it's in good shape in such a case that
lovely.
He'd almost sail it himself across the ocean.
No, I would definitely sail on this boat. This is a good boat.
Yeah.
Very happy with this. A few little minor things. It's just all part of the 3-minute check. Do it every day, every single person. Check all the split pins, check all the nuts, check all the bits and pieces. Anything where two things join together, just check it, make sure it's not doing what it's not supposed to do. If it should turn, make it turn. If it should be still, make it still. Just look after it and just go gently. It's about getting there, not racing. Have a good trip.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. I really appreciate it. I really do.
Most welcome. It's been a pleasure to come on this boat.
So, fellas on the beautiful Grand Soleil 56 Mad Monkey, for their provisions, especially the potatoes, the cabbages and the lettuces, we're just going through one by one and washing them out. Actually, there's no bugs in them, but also ditching any that are just slightly going off so they don't, also make the ones around them go off. I think it's a great idea. So I think, we haven't done that, so we're going to pull ours out and do that as well.
We're leaving tomorrow, thank goodness. I can't wait to get out of the marina. One of the final things to do is to put foam and tape around the spreaders just to protect our mainsail from rub, from chafe on the spreaders. Up I go!
Yes, because since we're mostly going to be going downwind, the sails are going to be right up against the spreaders. So about a quarter of the fleet are doing what Elle's about to do.
Let's take off this old tape.
Nah.
Leave it?
Yeah.
He's a total bogan. He's a country bogan. Yeah.
This is our last dinner in Las Palmas, people. We head across the Atlantic. And the great news is that Chris and Alyssa from Barefeet have come back. They've seen since. They've come back from Tenerife, which actually say was not that great, at least in Marina. And so they're also going to join us for dinner.
We're going to be out at sea at Christmas. Probably eating like stale bread.
My birthday's on the 5th of December.
Wow, it's pretty soon. Hey, Chris's birthday's next week. So Chris was underneath in the freezing water and I was holding the snorkel and he was scratching away, and you could just, it was pretty gross, you could see all the barnacles and bits of stuff just floating off the boat, and occasionally there was like rubbish that floated past him and I was like
So before the out crossing, all these restaurants pretty much get booked out for the final dinner for all the crews before they head out across the Atlantic. Makes sense, because you'll be pretty much eating spaghetti bolognese and probably tortilla for the next 2 weeks. And yeah, the face, Elle came back to the boat and said, all the guys are shaving before they cross the Atlantic. I thought, okay, fair enough. I've been meaning to do this since we came to Spain, but totally forgot about it, just out of mind. And so yeah, so I thought, time to get a new look.
if you just come up after it, I'll be like, oh god, I gotta get in this water. But yeah, like he was down there doing all boat cleaning like yesterday. I went and checked him twice.
Here's one crazy custom in Spain. When they say they're going to give you chips, they actually give you crisps. There's a fine dining restaurant. I mean, it's not expensive, but it's one of the better ones around here. They give you chips. Yeah, so I had a fit, and they've given me at least grilled vegetables, steamed vegetables. Yeah, it's much better. Yeah, chips.
Please crack me up. Like, look at this, what they've given me. for film.